This is episode 9, The Best Laid Plans
Wait.
of my of Mice and Men, blah 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 blah, reference to a book.
Yeah, that's how you know it's intellectual too. You know, it's not just deep now; it's also intellectual.
Damn it. I really just wanted it to be about punching things. Okay, off track. Episode 9, Best Laid Plans. Starting the recording in 3, 2, 1,
Play.
play. So before this episode begins properly, I wanted to show a little something. One of the things you can unlock in this game are different health gauges. They changed the way your health and birth gauges look. You can also change the stats. Like this one decreases the amount of damage we're going to take. I equipped that for this in anticipation for this episode, because this episode is actually a pretty big one, like in terms of difficulty. Another thing I want to show off is they collect. You can collect pieces, and this is stuff you can look at. They're actually like bios. You learn that Asura's mantra is wrath. Every one of the characters has a mantra, and the mantra is like what they draw power from. And some of them have really stupid names. But let's start the episode proper.
All right. Me? Who?
You let me handle them.
Yeah, Rosie the Riveter. We got this last episode.
Don't think she was planning on taking them on herself.
So I've got a question for you, Lar. You remember how like Thor can throw a hammer so hard it sends him flying?
Yeah.
Because it's still attached to it.
Yep.
I don't know why
Oh,
I'm
wow.
reminded of that. I don't know why. It's a weirdest sense of deja vu.
He punched the ground so hard he was launched from it. No, he punched the earth away from him and therefore jumped.
Why do they even have these ships? Asura blows these things up quicker than normal rank and file enemies. And he can fly.
And he can breathe in space, we established that.
They cost millions of dollars, and all they do is, again, before a major boss fight, just beat up the dude's car. So yeah, once you get to this last one, they start really getting crazy with the lasers while you build up the burst gauge. Use the button prompts to flex. That groaning noise. Every time.
Roger. All ships, commence exorcism.
That's not how you do the Macarena.
I was just reminded of something very embarrassing from my childhood that I don't know why I'm even mentioning it. I don't want to share it.
Does it have something to do with a certain high school project?
Yes.
Okay.
Have I told you, have I?
Yes, I believe you have.
Oh dear. Well, there you go, YouTube. You can enjoy that mystery.
I'm not the one who started this fire.
It was always burning since the world was turning.
No, but it will burn you to ash. Roger. All ships, commence purification.
That's not how you do the hustle. So now we have a segment where you shoot some more ships.
Of course.
You have to keep an eye. The key here is to keep an eye out for the missiles, because there will always be missiles just lazily making their way towards you. So you have to button prompt your way out of them, or you're gonna take a hit. They're also the fastest way to get your burst gauge up because they immediately destroy something.
I see that you can take some missiles to the face and have no problem with that.
Yeah, while you're countering, you're kind of like immune to missiles. I guess it's just an anime rule of cool thing.
You're finished. Maximum altitude has been reached.
That's not how you do the soldier boy. I am an expert in all of these dances, and I find this very amateur hour.
You know, for all I know, that is how you do the soldier boy.
When you fight a fool, waste your time. Our preparations to intercept Blittra's revival. We have no time to concern ourselves with you.
I love, like, his big major strategies, and Asura's response is usually just a big old nope.
They continue to be surprised by the fact.
This episode of Asura's Wrath is brought to you by the definitive Kalrow's Guide to Warfare, featuring such iconic Kalrow gems such as floating around and complaining about work, disorganized skirmishes, and the benefits of blowing up an enemy even after he proves himself to be immune to being blown up. Available in bookstores now, assuming you're not an illiterate dirty mortal.
They continue to be so surprised by the fact that Asura is surviving things. I don't know why.
Destroy the traitor. Punish him.
That's not... never fucking mind. That bit got old.
They're the most fabulous Daleks.
So remember how I told you about a guy whose counter prompt is really annoying?
Yes.
That guy, in the back.
That missile that slammed into your face.
Yeah, that guy fires missiles, and the missiles go really fast, and they don't do the whole time slowdown thing that they normally do for like every other counterattack. And like, you're paying attention to other things. You're not looking for like the clue he's gonna fire them off. There really is no clue he's gonna fire them off. There, I missed it by a fraction of a second and accidentally did a heavy attack. The best thing to do is to just get behind him, punch him in the butt until he stops.
So is this the thing that you needed the defensive health bar for?
It's one part of it. This level is kind of a haul. Like, I'm not sure, but I think it's like the longest level, like, almost in the game. In terms of just sheer number of encounters. Like, with the exception of like I think like late end game.
Right.
This is one of the hard ones because you see these guys with their chargy lances.
And their hula hoops.
They've got a long reach. And you're in a very confined space. The best way I've found to deal with them is to just divide and conquer. And then there's just one little floaty guy in the back.
He thought he could handle you all by himself.
Yeah, these guys are kind of easy to take care of one-on-one. The problem is when they're together, they tend to really like blindside you with their long reach.
What's he got in his hand there? Is that a sword, is it? Like a Final Fantasy sword?
Yeah. The sword guys are really easy just because they telegraph their attacks a lot. When I first played this game, this was actually the first ever time I died. This segment right here.
Oh boy.
Because you had like all that stuff before it with a whole bunch of new characters with new different types of attacks and like...
Oh, so you got the one health bar for all of that.
Yeah. So this guy's throwing out a whole bunch of weird attacks. You got the floaty guys who who threaten to keep interrupting you with their little like death by 1,000 cuts. And you still gotta focus on the guy in the center. You can only attack with punch lasers.
It's rough.
The problem isn't the big guy. The big guy is really slow and easy to predict. It's these little guys that annoy you because their attacks don't do a lot of damage, but they immediately stun lock you and they hit you 3 or 4 times. But then we just go back to the good old standby of punching a guy in the face. This guy right here is just Super Jim, which means he's super fun to punch in the face. And then surf down an elevator shaft.
More wonderful looks of horror on his face. Gotta love it.
Alert! Intruder detected in the mantra chamber.
What is this?
Those are the mortal souls that have been harvested into mantra. And these ships guide them to heaven.
Son of a bitch!
What's that? You wanted more combat? At least they restore your health at this point.
You're right though, it's definitely a long haul.
There, I missed the prompt because some guy decided to do the... That time I had no excuse. The problem here is they throw a lot of different enemies who are doing a lot of different things. A lot of them are off camera. Like that right there. I could counter that one spear charge, but not all of the others. And I don't know why. And then missiles. Missiles! This guy and his missiles. Just gonna punch this guy until hopefully he stops. At this point, they introduce the Macarena guys. The Macarena guys like to stand in the back, and they like to use these glowy orbs to just shoot little tiny lasers, which are basically like the ones the little floaty guys shoot. They're like almost as annoying. This is one of the rare instances where having a full burst gauge doesn't mean the end of the level. You have to actually kill all the things in order to progress.
Can you just use the burst gauge on this guy? Oh.
No, the burst gauge won't activate until this happens, which won't happen until all the enemies are dead.
I see.
It's like one of the only times it happens. Oh, what's that? You wanted even more combat?
I did. How did you know?
It's time for the obligatory Capcom elevator fight. Just punch laser that guy.
You should be punching these guys in the face. Just yeah, something like that.
Second wave. Again, when you hitting the X button before you hit the ground refunds some of the health you lost. For things like this, like even little tiny hits that don't knock you off your feet, you can recover health from. It keeps you going in a fight for a lot longer.
Yeah, that sounds really handy. Oh man, he exploded.
Now, it's important to keep your head up during this one, because they immediately throw a counterattack at you.
Oh wow.
Flip them like a pizza! It's amazing.
I love that they just keep coming up with new ways to throw people around.
The new ways just hurt Jim. And he does it again! This is like the only counterattack you get on this lift.
Oh, right in the crotch.
You'd think he would have learned his lesson the first 2 times.
Not our Jim.
It's good that it never gets old. He just goes like, no. And then
Oh,
press the
yes.
circle button to just drag him up an elevator. The regular elevator's too slow. We gotta go by the Jim Expressway.
Oh my god, I love this game.
Asura's Wrath is a game where fuck Jim.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Impossible. How could one man destroy my entire fleet?
Nope.
Did you think I would subject myself to your primitive way of combat?
Shut
This
up.
achievement never gets old.
Farewell.
Shut up, Kalrow.
Oh, his brilliant strategies. We have been outmatched by his brilliant strategies of blowing up a ship, and then blowing up a ship, and then blowing up a ship.
Continuing to not be there.
The best part of strategy is when you do the same thing over and over again,
You know,
and just never vary it up.
usually you'd say that that's a bad thing, but when it's Asura, I don't think he'd learn.
Beasts have long since ended. What was...
Right! Like I was saying. Because blowing him up works so well the first 3 times, you fucking dunce. Like this guy's strategies may be flawless, but his tactics are shit.
brought stability and order to our world. Above all, Lord Daughter's power is the pillar that keeps it in place.
As they said at the very beginning.
Press the circle button to flex.
Wait, I say,
Oh, Jesus.
world from the Goma. Yes, we're almost there. Soon the Goma will be no more. After the Great Rebirth, no more will need to be sacrificed. Yes, the world will be free from the threat of the Goma, and we shall attain eternal paradise.
I grow tired of hearing about the world.
Give him a big old anime hug.
Asura doesn't care about your world. Oh.
Yep. Squash him like a grape.
Brutal.
It's what he deserved. Learn the difference between strategy and tactics, you scrub. Also, a little bit of like a weird popping effect on the fire. It's like it's like they just turned on the fire effect.
Asura probably did that just to impress her.
Do you worry for him? You need not fear. He will not die yet. When he does, it'll be by these hands.
Yes. August is here. It's gonna be a party.
There's gonna be so much throwing of random animals. It's gonna be great.
So I got that. I got the gauge out because I thought I was going to do really bad, but then I got a personal best on this one. So goes to show everyone that I am good at video games. So ha.
But only when you don't realize it.
Chippewa, that was for you.